Hello, my name is Carl Surrey and this is a video tutorial for the Facebook group called Fans of Serif Software. And I want to sort of compare Serif's new photo editing program, which is what is on screen here, which is Affinity Photo. This has been designed for the Mac and quite recently for the PC, whereas Serif's earlier photo editing program, PhotoPlus, was a PC only product, and this is what most Serif users would have been used to and have been using it for many years. So the reason I want to do this sort of set of videos, and I'm hoping it will be a set of videos, is to partly for PhotoPlus users to sort of demonstrate where certain things are, so like beginners, or not so much beginners, but just people, so they can find what they're looking for, but also to, if they are thinking of upgrading into Affinity Photo, we can look at Affinity Photo to also show them that the features that they know and like can be found in Affinity Photo, or in some cases they can't be found. There are certain instances where I think PhotoPlus does things slightly better than Affinity Photo, and vice versa. Whereas people who have upgraded to Affinity Photo or have just jumped into photo editing, and this is their first product that they bought, it will help them as well, because it will show them where certain things are and certain things that they can do. So I'm hoping both PhotoPlus users and Affinity Photo users and people who are thinking of migrating from one to the other will get something out of these videos. So on with the tutorial. Okay, the first thing I want to look at in this playing around with colors tutorial is converting an image to a black and white image. Now, before we jump into that, just a couple of things I need to point out. With PhotoPlus, you can sort of make alterations either destructively or non-destructively, and by that I mean I can add an effect by coming to image, and the one that we are going to look at here is black and white. Now if I make alterations now and click OK, those alterations will be permanent, because as you can see it hasn't added, it won't add a layer. So you have to sort of really be happy with your adjustments before you click OK, because you won't be able to do that unless you click undo and go through it all again. So that is what is known as destructive. I'll cancel that, but if you use an adjustment layer, as you can see it adds a layer above the background, so I could turn that off and we can still get the background to come up, and the actual adjustments, rather than floating here on screen, is over here, but all the adjustments are exactly the same. But if at some later date you want to tinker again, you can just come back to this layer and the options will come up and you can make further alterations. So that is non-destructive. So that is that in PhotoPlus. Now in Affinity Photo it is slightly different in the sense that you can come to layers and there's like new live filters, which doesn't incorporate all the options. There's a sort of fair few here that will do a similar thing, like almost like destructively, but non-destructively you've got new adjustments layers down here, or you also have them listed over here. So again, I'm going to come to black and white, and with Affinity Photo, once you've made your alterations, if you click merge, it will merge it into the current layer below. So then that would become destructive, because you sort of can't go back and make alterations. But if you just click the X to close it, it will make it a layer like it is there. And I will just demonstrate this. If I click merge now, you see it has merged it into that layer. So I'll press Ctrl and Z to undo that and bring that panel back up. But if I click the X, it will keep it as a layer, and so that would be non-destructive. So both programs can do a destructive version and a non-destructive version of most adjustments, so you can bear that in mind. On the whole, it's best to use them non-destructively on a separate layer, so you can always go back and adjust them. So looking at making this into a black and white image. Now what the black and white adjustment does basically is change like the luminosity of a color. So you can, although it is black and white, you are changing the luminosity of the colors underneath to make them darker. So you've got the main, you've got red, yellow, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue and magenta, and you also have in PhotoPlus you've got here the hue and saturation of those colors. So if we have a quick look at this image, on the end here we have only like one yellow pencil. So if I just alter the yellow, at the moment that PhotoPlus sees this as being 89 in this luminosity scale, I'm guessing. So if I move this to the left, you make that darker, and move it to the right, you make that lighter. So you are only really, I mean, it is making some adjustments to other colours, especially like any yellow that's in this, the wood on these ones down here, but it's not really altering the other pencils that much. And there is a reset option here to put it back to where we were. So if I go to Affinity Photo, now this does it slightly differently. They are all on 100%, but just moving the yellow will have a similar effect. To the left makes it darker, to the right makes it lighter, and it's sort of affecting the wood in the other pencils, but not a lot else. Okay, and again, if you don't like an alterations you've made, for example, you could just click reset, and they will go back to where they were. Right, so before I move on from this tool, I just want to have one quick look at something else. Let me just turn this one off for a minute. Now as you can see, there's quite a few pencils here that are in the sort of red range of colours. So we've got the, like the orange, two red ones, even the brown. So I just want to have a quick look at altering the red ones slider. So I'll move this, hang on, let me make this visible again. So if I'm moving this to left or right, you are affecting more of the pencils because they are all within a similar colour range, which the yellow pencil wasn't. So again, so you can make them all lighter or darker depending on which one you move. And other options that you have with Affinity Photo is you can change the opacity of the effects that you're making, so you could bring back some of the underlying colors because it's not a total black and white image. And you can also muck around with the blending mode. In PhotoPlus, again, if we look at if I just move the red sliders to the left, it goes darker, and to the right, it goes lighter. Let me just reset that. You do also have an option up here to change the filter type, so this is like just looking at the blues, looking at the red, and you can still make alterations with the sliders. So there's quite a few different alterations you can make there, but I'll put it back to the default settings. Now you don't have a opacity and blending options up here in the adjustments panel, but they are here in the levels panel, so you can make those alterations there. But one thing that you do have here in PhotoPlus is that you can sort of put a tick into tint, and then these sliders at the bottom come into play, so you could make it into a sepia image like it is at the moment, or change it to a blue hue and alter the saturation of that blue, or just add a very slight hint of blue to your black and white image. So in that respect, this adjustment in PhotoPlus is maybe slightly better than Affinity Photo, but really there's not a lot of difference between them. So I'm now going to move on to the next adjustment. I'll just quickly delete these particular layers and I will be back. Okay, moving on to the next color adjustment, I want to look at the channel mixer. And in PhotoPlus, the channel mixer adjustment is this one here. So as you can see, we've got the options in this section. It has added the layer above the background, and at the moment it has absolutely no effect on the image because it is set up to sort of display what is currently on screen. By default it is set on the red channel, and you can see red is at 100% and the others are colours are 0. And if I change it to green, then green is 100% and the others are 0. And similarly for the blue. So I'll go back to red as that's the default setting. Now the constant slider will alter how much the effect of the particular channel has on an image. So you can have like more red affecting or take red out of the image. So let me just reset this to where it was. There are some various options where you can change it into a black and white image but set to the red channel, and then you've got the green channel, blue channel, but I'll put it back to default and just reset that. So for a quick and also you've got a monochrome, you can put a tick into that and it will just instantaneously turn it black and white. So I'll put it back, reset it, and just for a quick look, what I want to do is I'm going to change to the blue channel, and I'm going to move the red slider up to 100. It might be easy, just type in 100. Then as you can see, you've got all these different coloured pencils. If I turn this off and on, it has brought out a lot more of the red in the pencils there. And if I then move the constant slider to -25, it will 24, that will do. It will bring back some of the white that was lost in the background, and those pencils won't look as like neon as they were. So again, if I just turn that off and on, you can see how you can alter the colours in that way. So let me just reset that, and we'll have a quick look at how Affinity Photo does it. Again, you've got an adjustment down here, and channel mixer, and it looks pretty much the same. It works in the same way. As you see, red is on 100, and rather than constant, we have offset, which works in pretty much the same way. We just reset that. So pretty much like before, what I will do is I will come to the blue channel. I will move this up to 100%, and I'll move this to -25, be in the same settings. So oh no, I reset this one, didn't I? What I should have done was kept it the same so we could compare them. Let me just quickly do this. 100, and move this to -25. Right, so pretty much they're doing exactly the same job in the same way. So you can change the colours in various ways, and using the channel mixer is the second way you can do it in both programs. So rather than make this a really long video, this is going to be the last look at these two programs in this particular video. You will look out for part 2 later on. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.